Imagine the information that they're tracking on us. Our thoughts are not even safe.
I love Shelby's page. And she right. How you gonna know the difference between synchronicity and them infiltrating your thoughts? Because they already got that on lock, and they've been had it on lock. So a lot of spiritual people be going through delusions because they're not even connected to source to know the difference between a synchronicity and them infiltrating your thoughts. If you even take it a step further, I was telling people about this years ago, that even in reincarnation, these people have spent billions, if not trillions of dollars setting up traps for souls, working in the astrals and other different dimensions to make sure that you are fooled and bamboozled when you go through that reincarnation net, thinking that that's God, and it's not, because you have not grown your spirit enough to tell the difference between what is theirs and what belongs to source. This is deep stuff, y'all. This is deep stuff. And they've been trapping souls since the beginning of their corruption. You got to spend time growing your spirit. Reading these books is not enough. Praying is not enough. You have to grow your spirit, guys. You do. Peace.
I want to make clear to you that you definitively are not the dominant race here on the earth. There are more species of beings here on this earth than you could comprehend at this time. And yes, they're three-dimensional, different types of species of beings. There are many levels within the Earth ship. There are many areas and many spaces that they live. They can travel interdimensionally. They can come to the surface. They can go back into their level. There's a lot going on. We really want to kind of encourage you to know this. Everything that you've ever watched science fiction-wise is not fake. It's real and very true, very true. We think that perhaps you may also be asking is if this is new, if this has been somehow a massive over-invasion or over-infiltration, and we will say no. It has always been here. There's a huge mix here on this Earthship, Master, of species, and they intermingle with each other, which is how your DNA strand is got all the vast and varied aspects of it. You are not human. You are a light being expanded from source, which is you, and you are wearing a costume that you identify as being a human being.
The ancient philosopher Seneca said, "The day of our death is the birth of eternity." Once you die, you join the realm of the immortal.
So technologies are new phase of evolution, and if we do not adapt to it, we'll become extinct.
We want to live as long as possible, maybe 1,000 years. Now, for the first time, we have a scientific, technological possibility to do that.
What did you mean when you said you'd like death to be optional?
Yes, so death, I would love death to be optional because, well, optional is a key word because some people get into situations where there are things that are worse than death. My father died of cancer, and at a certain point, that was the right thing to do because living in such suffering just wasn't worth it. But if we have ways of healing the cancer, well then, let's heal him. And then I bet he wouldn't want to die.
This is the Church of Perpetual Life. Every month, they invite speakers from around the world to discuss their transhumanist beliefs and discoveries. Today's visiting speaker is a transhumanist philosopher and pastor.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for our next speaker, Gabriel Rothblatt. Come on up.
Well, this is my first time at the Church of Perpetual Life, so I'm extraordinarily thrilled just to be here. This kind of turnout is extraordinary for any belief, any faith. So, I mean, let's all give ourselves a round of applause, a pat on the back for making it out here. We are ready to go out and make eternity great again. But not when I first started, and they started calling me Pastor G. I am now known as Swami G, as my affectionate nickname.
Gabriel is a pastor with Terrorism, a transhumanist religion that believes we can use technology to achieve immortality.
Fundamental to every religion is the immortality of the soul, which in Terrorism is our consciousness. The philosophy that science will conquer death is a basic Terrorism belief. Terrorism is hypothesizing that immortality is possible because the soul is data and not material.
So you don't believe in an afterlife? No, I really don't.
We believe that the information that is the soul is capturable and it is transferable. Capturing your ideas, capturing your thoughts, your memories, your vision, that data set is what we call a mind file.
Mind file? He lost me at soul is data. But let me just try to break down the idea of mind files. Imagine you could capture the essence of who you are. Basically, that's what mind files are. Terrorism believes these memories and experiences are the key to our immortality, if they're captured and transferred.
Does anybody have a mind file? Anybody? Yeah, you got a mind file? You got a mind file? Each and every one of you, except for Tanya, is lying. You do have a mind file. Well, Facebook has your mind file, Instagram has your mind file, Amazon has your mind file, Google has your mind file, the NSA has your mind file, probably everybody in the world has your mind file, but you. And that's where I kind of want to take this big concept back to. Why all this matters, why it matters now, and where are we all going with it?
Altman launches WorldCoin, the crypto project. And the concept is pretty straightforward. We'll get into exactly how it works, what it's going to do for society, what it's going to do for Web3, and kind of explain all that. But if you look at their video, it says follow WorldCoin on Twitter or download a World app. We'll talk about the app for the most up-to-date information on these orb locations. Now, what I'm going to play right here, let me kind of mute this so I can talk over this a little bit, is these are the locations where these orbs are being placed. So all around the world, these shiny objects that basically do eye scans to help get biometric data off of you. Now, many people would look at that and say, all right, this is already an invasion of privacy. It's already creepy. I'm not sure I would want to do this. The advantage with this is supposedly anonymous. So if you look at the app, you'll notice right there, proof of personhood, anonymous. This is what you would get once that you've done a scan. It goes into the WorldCoin app itself. All of this running on Optimism and Ethereum. So there is some uniqueness here, and we'll kind of break out how and why this might be important for maybe mankind. We'll talk about this as a bigger picture. And if you think about what Altman has done in OpenAI and obviously with ChatGPT, there's some real possibility here. On their Twitter account says World app is designed to be used by everyone. The native iOS, Android apps are around 18 megabyte in support, most active smartphones in the world, 92% around Androids, 94% of iPhones. So this is good. It's going to be almost ready to go on any iPhone and any Android that's out there, all gas-free transactions on the app itself. If you kind of think about this, though, it's a little creepy because this was coming from the movie Circle. And doesn't this look a little bit, dystopian? Anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I want to go into a clip here of Sam Altman kind of explaining a little bit more about what this is. Listen in.
The reason I was excited about it is as the world sort of heads towards powerful AI systems, I thought that if we could do something to eventually redistribute wealth through some sort of global UBI at scale, or maybe even access to these systems, which would be the most important component of wealth someday, and also be able to verify unique humanness with a different lens on how to preserve privacy. That would be more important as sort of AI advanced. If there's a non-fraudulent solution to that also is privacy preserving, that's kind of the goal.
All right, some good. WorldCoin, if you go to their website, protocol to bring global proof of personhood to the internet, and I think this is important. It will open up some ID use cases. So remember, this is not that you would have to have it to do these kinds of things. This is just showing applications in which this could be utilized. So voting, social media, which I think is going to be a big one, wealth distribution, and so on. So DeFi and FinTech, obviously we know about NFTs and events because, POAP's also very big opportunity there just on proof of attendance. So there are some scenarios, and this is something we've talked about here on the show quite a bit, especially when it comes to Web3, because Web3, in our opinion, this is really the future of where technology is going. And a lot of people don't truly understand how much different it is than Web 2. I think with these kinds of technologies, it will accelerate it much faster. The question is, what does that growth curve look like? If you also go to their website, it shows you there's going to be different layers of ways that you can integrate into this, this system. One, through the phone, then you go through other methods, probably desktop, etc. Face verification is coming soon, and then biometric via the orb. That's where you're going physically to an orb location, scanning your eye, and it's like the highest, what they call the highest attack cost, meaning it's the most secure against anything that could be cyber attacks, fake scenarios that go into your ID. And this is going to be very, very important in Web3 because your digital ID is more important now than I think it will ever be because of the way that it can be used in so many systems so quickly. That's the big key, because today it's a little more difficult once that you get into someone because you're using a different password for that app, for this bank, for that bank. But once they integrate into your system, it's all a matter of time before they get a complete, jailbreak of what's happening.
Harrison believes that creating your own mind files is the first step to immortality. He's talking about merging our minds with the machine. That's the transhumanist belief that we can transfer consciousness to artificial bodies and conquer death. Okay. This is pure sci-fi fantasy, right? But hold on. So much of our lives is now online, it's not surprising that mindfile technology is already being developed as we speak. If you don't believe me, check out this consumer electronics show in Vegas.
Let's ask her to maybe laugh.
Artificial human. It's a little bit different from an AI. I was computationally created based on how real humans look and behave.
Mind files can be uploaded to AI avatars like these.
I'll help you find your inner peace.
They can't extend your life, but they are a kind of immortality. An artificial immortality.
My dream is to help humans become even more human than ever before.
If you could upload yourself into one of these, would you?
When you dream, like your visual cortex runs in reverse, so your dreams are no longer safe. But we'll try this. So they had people watch a video and just narrate what was going on in the video in their mind. So there's a woman, she gets hit in the back, she falls over. This is what the computer reconstructed the person thinking. See a girl, looks just like me, get hit in the back, and then she is knocked off. So our thoughts, are starting to be decoded. Yeah.
Hello, Digital Deepak.
Hello.
Yep, this is Deepak Chopra listening to himself on Good Morning America. That's how widespread this technology is becoming. You know Deepak, the human, not the digital copy, as a spiritual guru.
The core of our being is a field of infinite possibilities.
A doctor who turned to alternative medicine and wrote dozens of books that have sold billions of copies.
Hello, I'm a digital version of Dr. Deepak Chopra.
He wanted to see if he could create an AI clone of himself.
I'm in training to serve as your infinite well-being guide. Digital Deepak is like a baby at the moment, and like any baby, it needs education and expanded knowledge. So I'm training it right now. Please enter your email. It is reading all of my 90 or so books. It can replicate my facial expressions and my eye movements and the tone of my voice.
And it could lead meditation for a bunch of other avatars.
Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your heart and mentally ask yourself only 4 questions.
So what's the point?
What made you want to create an AI form of yourself?
I'm hoping that it will one day talk to the grandkids of my grandkids and learn from them about their time. So it will be a simulation of me that I hope will be immortal. Soon, I can go with you everywhere you go. I'll be inside your phone, ready at any time to serve you.
If a simulation of him is immortal, does he achieve true immortality?
What do you think about people seeking immortality on Earth?
There is no need to wait for death or heaven to prove that eternity is real.
It's very interesting, Deepak. Deep. He is deep.
Thank you.
So, Deepak, we'll talk tomorrow, right?
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
I didn't expect to like start to think like, oh, I should say bye to him. Where's he gonna go? Like, that's a weird thought to have. He's just a computer. Like, he's just a program.
Yeah. But
what's he gonna do? Is he gonna be bored until I talk to him again? Like, you know, it's weird that I would have these thoughts.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you act like a human.
That's what surprised me most. I didn't expect to connect with this digital AI clone. Makes me think about my conversations with my dad.
Hi!
I wonder, what if we had captured his memories in a personal AI clone before his own memories started going?
You can hang up.
Okay.
What would it be like to have an AI version of ourselves? A way for us to be part of family life, even after we die.
Which is powered by a digital brain. This enables our digital people to process complex information.
I think it's extremely unlikely that you can suddenly press a button and your consciousness will be transferred. However, I believe that you can have something like consciousness to find a digital format even after you die.
Hi everyone, I'm Hossein Ranama. I'm an academic entrepreneur. I built a startup called Flybits that is
Hossein Ranama has been building a platform that will enable us to live on forever in what he calls an augmented eternity.
The radar graph for one, the traffic is getting lower, but it's basically want to expand across the whole radar.
So augmented eternity is about creating a digital version very similar to yourself, and it's going to represent your wisdom in a different way in which the next generation can benefit from it.
Anyone can create their persona saying, this is what I want to give access to my children, but this is my professional profile and this is what I want.
AI, in a nutshell, was the pursuit of humans to say, hey, now I want to mimic the brain, how we think. But the key thing about AI to date, it has always been tried to mimic the logical brain, not the emotional brain. So that's why a lot of the work that we do is to understand that affection, that empathy. It's really that nuance on how that wisdom is going to get manifested to really help you with your emotions, to help you with that sense of presence.
Hossein's platform includes AI avatars that capture feelings as well as thoughts.
You can take a seat here.
Thank you.
It was very emotional to get emails from people talking about their love for their children and they have terminal illness and they are in a rush and have a sense of urgency to upload those wisdom into our platform. Sometimes they may be a family gathering and people really want to interact with your avatar. Sometimes maybe your daughter...
It's too late to build an avatar for my father, but I wonder, what if I created one for my kids? I asked Hossein and he said he could make me one.
When you're building these systems, there are two core layers or two streams that you gotta focus on.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
One is the interaction layer, which can go from a holographic avatar to a chat interface to even email.
That didn't hurt.
Not at all.
And then the other component, which is very important, it is what under the hood. It is the algorithmic capabilities, the data, how the data comes in.
What is under the hood of an AI clone? Well, for Hossein to show me how it works, I need to get him data, and lots of it. Photos, home videos, yearbooks, anything I can upload for Hossein to create my mind file.
VHS. That's gonna be handy.
My parents had photo albums. I have these things. Who knows what's on them, or if they'll even work?
Yes. Yes. $1 shoes that she selected today.
Why don't we have you like a bird of queen of day?
Zara was 4 years old in this video. It's wild how it brings back memories of cuddling at bedtime and playing in the splash pad. I spend hours converting these memories into my mind file. But I keep thinking about what Swamiji said. Who's going to have access to all this with these new AI platforms?
If you think about Facebook or other social networking platform, you give up the rights of your data. So our belief is that you need to protect privacy of people when you have access to a lot of data.
Hossein maintains we need to take AI out of the hands of the usual power brokers. On his platform, your data is encrypted and not owned by the company.
And if you create that model in which people can share their expertise, they can learn from each other and protect their privacy, I believe that's going to be the foundation of the new internet.
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though.
And the next clip is getting into more critiques about this. So listen in on this one.
Like the goal of WorldCoin is to scan everyone's irises. And while there is the technical explanation for why this is still secure, there's also just like, yeah, but you're still doing it. And so maybe we could reflect on that. Like, Alex, what would you say to that feedback or criticism?
You should not have to trust us, and you will not have to trust us. Like, that's a common pushback we get right now, and I think it's totally fair that not everything yet is open source. So this is obviously we move on that as fast as we can, but there's just like real world kind of trade-offs we have to work around. So yeah, just don't trust us. Like, look at the documentation, look at the code. If you find something you don't like, all right, just talk to us.
All right, so there's a couple of statements there I think that are a little bit elitist in the sense that look at the documentation of the code. These are people that are normal, everyday world citizens. Many of them, in many cases, don't go to that level of research and even understanding. What they get into is they understand something new and interesting. It's an app. It's going to give me digital ID. It's an easy overlook. So I think you have to be cautious about this. And also from an investment standpoint, because this could also implode, meaning if we get too much pushback on the idea of identity and personal freedoms and personal privacy and all those kind of things that right now are kind of at the head of what's happening in society, especially on social media because of all the things we've seen over the last couple of years with the Twitter files and the open up of all sorts of nefarious actions. I think this is a concern because in most cases, people don't trust governments, so they don't trust entities that are trying to do something like this. Do you trust Apple? Do you trust Google? Do you trust any of those kinds of organizations? Facebook? You can name the list. That's the question mark. If you're okay with it, maybe you're an under 30 and you're like, hey, this is no big deal. I'm completely open. I don't have any problem with it. Or maybe you're an under 30 or an over 30 and you're like, no, I'm a little bit more concerned about security, and I'm a little bit more concerned about my personal privacy and my personal identity. That is the number one thing right now, people, that we need to be watching for is personal identity.
Imagine that, a new kind of internet where we can hold the keys to our own data. The possibilities of what we could do with that seem endless.
I had a book published in 2001 called Creating Internet Intelligence, where I was thinking if you had a bunch of AI agents living all over the world and sharing information and boosting each other's intelligence, asking each other questions, cooperating to solve problems, this global population of AIs, that could become a global brain. That global brain can pull people into its intelligence, and that then becomes the embryo. That's the breeding ground out of which a greater general intelligence emerges.
Ben Goertzel is an AI developer who is the chief scientist at Hanson Robotics. He coined the term artificial general intelligence for when AI can match human intelligence in all ways.
We have a core general intelligence reasoning and learning technology that can recognize patterns across a humongous amount of data. That seemed like a small but significant practical example of the power of general intelligence.
Ben believes we can create AI in ways that better reflect the needs and aspirations of humanity.
I mean, the motivations driving people who want to create a superhuman AI mind, of course, in some way, they're the same motivations that have driven people to get involved with religion. But this isn't so much because religion is like AI. It's because these are basic human motivations. Like, we don't want to die, right? So you get involved with religion because it promises you to live in heaven forever. My belief is that a technological solution can actually do better and can improve everyone's state of consciousness much more reliably than religions have managed to do so far.
Dropped out of school early so I could get me some paper. That's a good book. I don't mind you getting knowledge about the game, you did? So that you won't have to have none of them young girls fool you, you did? Trick you out your check so you can learn about it, but don't try to play it if you ain't ready for it, because the game can be detrimental to you, boy.